Is PC gaming getting too expensive? I've been having these thoughts over the last couple of months, where I've sort of gone, you know what, this is getting a little bit out of hand. I've been playing PC games for around about 8 years or so, and I swear it used to be cheaper. So what's changed, and is it really getting a bit too much? In this video, I'm going to go through all of the current aspects of PC gaming, see how they've changed over the last few years, and show you some easy ways to save yourself some cash. But first, this video is proudly sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is the affordable VPN service that allows you to browse privately and encrypt your data to help protect you online. With over 1,000 servers across 56 countries, your unlimited device license will let you browse almost anywhere from anywhere. Use code Centric at the link below to get 83% off your personal Surfshark plan, and even get one bonus month for free. Start surfing privately today with Surfshark VPN. There's definitely a few different ways you could look at this. Are we comparing PC gaming to console? Do we already have a kick-ass PC and you just need to install a graphics card? Or are we talking about the price of the games themselves? When I started making videos all the way back in 2012, and yes, this was me, what of it? I was working part-time in my local supermarket, and I was comfortably able to afford a couple of AAA titles each month, and then I was able to save up and purchase my own gaming PC. And I definitely had to cut quite a few corners, and I know I recycle this story quite a lot, but if you are in the market for a new gaming PC and it's a brand new build, you haven't had one before, then it is actually worth considering getting everything that you need without the graphics card, and then maybe saving up another month and getting that a month later. And the reason for this is because then you're not cutting back on any of those other components, you're still getting a computer that you can play with, assemble, get the way you want, but then not lose out when it comes to gaming performance because you just get that graphics card, slot it in and enjoy all of that sweet performance. All in all, I think I paid around about £900 for my first computer. And allowing for inflation, I think I can get a fairly similar relative amount of performance these days for that same amount. So a £1,000 gaming computer should be able to play the latest titles at 1080p and 1440p without too much hassle. And if you want to see exactly how well some of these builds will perform, maybe what the games will look like or the FPS, you can find a playlist of all of my PC builds that I put together in the top right hand corner of this screen, as well as in the end screen. So I'd say that really at the lower end of the market, not too much has changed in the way of what you can actually get for your money. If you want to play 1080p games, then you can still do that for a relatively affordable price. But as we move to the luxury end of the market, I think this is definitely where we see the biggest difference. And I know I use this story a lot, but my second graphics card that I ever purchased was the best gaming graphics card I saved up over a month, because I was earning around about £400 a month and the graphics card was £420, and I bought a GTX 680 and it was fantastic. It did everything and I felt really important. But then if you try and do that now, you're looking at well over £1,000 for an RTX 2080 Ti, which there is no chance I was going to save up for almost 3 months just for one piece of graphics card. That would be absolutely ridiculous. So why has this happened? Well, the story will change depending on who you ask. If you talk to the silicon manufacturers, I'd wager that they'd probably explain it something like this. GPUs and CPUs are getting harder and harder to make as the die size is getting smaller and it requires more money to plan, produce and then gain high yields from. And the jump from 1080p to 4K gaming is absolutely huge, with the amount of computational power actually required to meet 4K gamers' needs. It just requires better chips, faster and higher capacity memory, and then better cooling solutions. But if you talk to someone a little bit more cynical, maybe like myself a couple of years ago, then I would say that it is all about business and marketing. Realistically, there are more and more PC gamers now, and with hit games like Fortnite, Dota, PUBG, all leading the PC charge, there's just more people out there with higher incomes that are willing to spend more money on the stuff they love. So why not keep the baseline quite similar to keep the customer base happy, and then bring out products that are more powerful than before and increase the price until people stop buying altogether? Ha 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 ha. But I think that the truth is probably somewhere between the two of those things. Because yes, things are getting harder and harder to produce, there are more desires for more powerful hardware, but likewise, if there aren't many people selling this stuff and people have the money to actually invest in it in the first place and people are willing to spend the money on these things, then it sort of does go hand in hand. You've got people that want the absolute best and are willing to spend whatever they have, I guess, on it, and then you have people that are willing to actually sell that. So when you combine the two together, it's not really that surprising that things are getting more and more expensive. My advice is just to be very careful about any crazy new features that you might get marketed at for PC parts or games, as they can actually often be smoke without fire. Take Nvidia RTX for instance. I think this is pretty much the infamous example, as we all know how good the reflections can look, but a couple of these epic screenshots are actually hugely different to actually playing the game at a smooth FPS with a huge visual improvement. It might look good, sure, but I wouldn't say that these features are actually worth the upgrade cost themselves. Although when you factor in maybe the raw performance of the GPU itself, it is a different matter. Another thing that we actually do need to consider is just about all of these new peripherals that are coming out. And once again, there are more PC gamers, so there are more people that are willing to buy these products, and I think everything has been hugely influenced recently by 3 letters, RGB. Or if you gigabyte, RGBW, but that's not relevant. This may well sound quite silly to you, but just look at mechanical keyboards. They seem to have gone from around about £80 to £100 for a flagship to nearing 200. And this has all stemmed from the fancy lighting and extra features that most people aren't probably even going to use. Don't mistake me here, I think they're great, and they're certainly worth the money if you want the best keyboard for gaming that not only looks incredible but is built to last. But there just are other things out there that are probably worth you spending your money on first. Part of the thing that I really do love about PC gaming though is the flexibility when it comes to choosing a display. As if you're on a console, you're probably going to go for a 16:9 1080p or 4K television, whereas if you're going for a more desk-orientated setup, you can have whatever monitor or monitors you so please. Again, this seems to me like an area that's just got silly expensive over the last 10 years. And the idea of having a really pricey TV in the living room and an epic super duper gaming monitor in the study is something that I think most of us just don't want to stomach. If you're wanting to play on a fairly basic 1080p monitor, then the cost isn't actually too much of a problem, as you're looking at just over £100 for something that is surprisingly decent. But if you really do want the latest and greatest G-Sync HDR experience, it's over £2,000. This is crazy. I'd say that the sweet spot at the moment is probably Quad HD, 1440p, 144Hz, as this allows you to not only get the sharpness of higher resolutions, but to unlock the console beating refresh rates that really does take PC gaming to the next level. It won't come cheap at around about £400, but it will give you a great balance, while being easy enough to drive without needing one of those insanely expensive graphics cards. Unfortunately though, I would say that the games themselves have got more expensive, which is definitely a little bit of a shame. There's definitely a rise in free-to-play games and in-game purchases that can bring the price down, with Fortnite, PUBG and Apex Legends all being prime examples of this, but when it comes to AAA, I think we are in a little bit of a weird place right now. Take Civilization 6's latest game expansion, Gathering Storm. I really wanted to buy this, but I saw it was $34.99 for an expansion, and I remember playing $29.99 for a full-fat PC game. There's also more software launchers that you can shake a stick at now, lots of games will sell for $59.99, and I think it is a little bit harder to discover new games as a result of all of this. I'm just far more willing now to wait a little bit, get games at a lower price, and I think that a lot of people probably agree with this, and this is maybe why the prices are going up, because less people are paying full price, so the people that are paying full price have to pay more. I don't really know. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on this one down in the comment section below. Is there anything that you're looking forward to, and have you pre-ordered a game recently? So okay, what you save on free-to-play, you're probably going to have to reinvest into that real hit AAA big release that you've been waiting for. But I'd say that even this is likely to change quite soon. You may have seen the big announcements from Apple and Disney this year with their upcoming TV streaming services. But if you look a little bit closer, you actually see that games publishers are doing the exact same thing. EA have Origin Access, Microsoft the Xbox Game Pass, and Ubisoft Uplay Plus. These plans give you a huge catalogue of games to play whenever and wherever, and they seem to offer great value, as they're usually cheaper than buying a full price title every month. Whether it will save you money in the long term, frankly, I don't know, but the game is definitely changing, and with the big pushes that these companies are placing on the services, I really wouldn't be surprised to see this approach take over in the coming years. It definitely is a really interesting space. I find all of this quite fascinating. I do have a little bit of an interest in business and how it all works, but while things may seem like they're getting more expensive and that things are changing that shouldn't be, I would actually argue that it's not as much as you think, it's just that there is more choice out there. I think that the easiest way for you to save yourself some money on PC gaming is to work out exactly what experience you're trying to achieve, and then only buy the items that are going to provide that. I absolutely love RGB fans, fancy keyboards, luxury gaming chairs, but the reason that consoles are so cheap and sell so many is because they're just incredibly streamlined. They do one thing, gaming, really well, and because there aren't any options to choose from, any fancy features, everyone saves money on the single box, and then they give their money to Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo via a cut of the game sales, rather than hardware alone. And on the PC, we just don't really do that, and as such, every piece of the puzzle needs to make the manufacturer some money, and I call this the PC gamer tax, which exists whether we like it or not. But ultimately, it's what allows us to make something that console gamers just can't ever get. The choice to choose what we want. The only reason we upgrade our PCs, spend all of this money on frankly very unnecessary things, it's not because we ever have to, it's because we want to. We absolutely love the platform, we're so passionate about it, and having something that you've built, something that you're proud of, something that does everything you want and more, something you can just tweak all of the settings on your game, sort of sit back and go, whoa, this looks incredible. It's so many things like this that really makes up PC gaming, is the community. There is so many things. I really could talk about it all day. I absolutely love it. And if you join us, if you haven't already, I think you will as well. Just be warned that in a few years' time, it does get very tempting to get that little bit of RGB. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on it down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me that PC gaming is getting more expensive, but it doesn't necessarily have to be? Or do you think I've got it all wrong? Really interested to hear your thoughts on this one. A massive thank you for you guys for watching. Please hit the like button if you've enjoyed it. Get subscribed for more videos. And of course, a massive thank you to Surfshark VPN for proudly sponsoring this video. Having a VPN is so important to keeping yourself safe and secure online. And if you're like me, and you're always using free public Wi-Fi, then it really is time to start protecting yourself. It is so simple to get started, remarkably affordable, and very easy to use thanks to the clean and fluid smartphone and desktop applications. You can even multi-hop through 2 different VPN servers for times when you're working with super sensitive information. Hit the link down below and use code Centric to get 83% off your personal Surfshark VPN plan. And you'll even get 1 bonus month for free. A massive thank you once again to you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.